Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. I am nearly done with the Skywalker saga. I just finished The Last Jedi. It wasn't as bad as I remember. Now, I think people's main arguments with The Last Jedi is the use of the original characters, um, and Rian Johnson's intentions. Now, so far as the use of the original characters, I liked how they used the characters in The Force Awakens. I thought Han and Leia, their relationship was really beautiful, and the amount of reunions that they actually had were pretty good. They didn't get the whole team back with Luke, Leia, and Han, but you know, there was that feeling of the gang's back together more than I remembered. Now, I was pissed with the ending because I wanted Luke to be involved, and that ending with her just handing the lightsaber to him, and then just the end. I'm like, oh, you bastards! That is such a cliffhanger, and the original film didn't have a cliffhanger like that, and it didn't even feel like Empire had a cliffhanger like that in a certain respect. There was certainly they had to solve problems, but it wasn't in that absolute and holding something out and not getting an answer. So that was frustrating. But fortunately, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so I was able to live the next couple of years of my life not being driven mad, not knowing what his response was going to be, and also just I assumed he would just help. He would resist for a while and then train her, basically, because that's what he needed to do. Um, Now, the problem with the film is, I mean, visually it's beautiful. The action is spectacular. It is well directed. Um, the problem more is the writing and the intention behind the writing, and that is to subvert expectations. That was Rian Johnson's goal, and that's the problem with the film, because every time you want it to go in a certain direction or you want a character to act a certain way, it does the opposite. And when I watched the film the first time, I felt that, and it felt wrong and uncomfortable, and I was like, why is nothing happening the way I think it should happen? And it doesn't happen that way for a particular reason or for a logical reason or for a real reason. It's just because that's what I wanted. That's what the audience wanted. He just wanted to do the opposite of what we wanted to do, basically. Like, I'm not going to give you the film you want. I'm just going to give you something else and see how you react. Like the characterization of him being a spoilt kid playing in someone else's sandbox, breaking their toy because he can. Um, that sort of feeling is there. It's not. It's not as the film comes out a lot better than it really should have. I mean, some of the things that bug me aren't even in relation to the subverted expectation. The thing that annoys me the most out of the whole film, not even Luke dying, is the fact that Holdo sits there watching the transports be blown up for a few minutes before it occurs to her to hyperspeed into the ship with her ship. Why she didn't immediately do that, why she didn't do that sooner, drove me a bit nuts. Now, I didn't quite understand the plan the first time, so I thought that was originally the plan the whole time. The small ships were going to evacuate, and she was going to use the ship as a weapon. And I was really confused when I watched the film the first time. Like, why is she taking so long? Why did she take that long? Then I realized it was never part of the plan, that she just sort of came up with it. But I still wish she would have come up with it sooner. Why she just sat there watching everyone die? And the fact that the rebels were reduced to so few, but then we have the hope that all these other children and these other people all in the universe all know the rebels are out there, and that they're a symbol more so than the actual number. So it does work, it does make sense, but it just messes with you for the sake of it in so many little instances, which is just annoying. And it's really not, and there are things that are sort of thrown away. And I don't have the time to go over every plot element, and no one wants to hear all that anyway, and a million other people have done it anyway in analysis of the film. But there's a lot of things that are just sort of thrown out, and as JJ said, you don't go to this film because you want to be told things mean nothing. And you don't want to have your expectations subverted. When you go to McDonald's and you order a hamburger, you want meat and buns. You can have different sauces and different flavors and different things. Like, Mecca used this example, and I agree with it. You don't go there for a pudding. You go there for a burger. And that's what Star Wars is. Trying to apply auteur cinema rules and artistry to a franchise film like this was never going to work. So the film overall is okay. It has some really good elements. And Luke dying doesn't even bother me that much because it's I wish he hadn't, because it would make his role, obviously in the next film, he would have a role in the next film and it would be a different film. Same with Leia, but Leia was supposed to be the last Skywalker, and Rian Johnson can't be blamed for her dying. But she did die before the film. I think, did she die before the film was released? I'm trying to remember. In my memory, she died before the film was actually released, and they could have changed the ending so Luke was the last Jedi. But I now am wondering if that's actually the chronology, because I didn't check it, which I should have checked it before I did this, but I haven't had the time. I've been too busy watching Star Wars movies. But either way, the film's better than I remembered. The subversion of expectations is just hanging over it like a shadow, and the way Rian Johnson approached the film was just wrong. But it didn't come out as bad as it could. It's not as bad as people say, but it still is hugely flawed. Even though it's still enjoyable, it's mostly the performances and just the cinema of the film. But that's just my impression. The first time I saw it, I just left feeling a bit uneasy. I wasn't quite sure why it didn't work. And I've had time to sort of listen to other people's reasons, and now I've watched it again myself, and I sort of feel that. And Ryan's approach was just wrong, and it was really Kathleen Kennedy's mistake for hiring him, really, or at least not giving him some stipulations. Just letting him run wild was not the right idea. But it still holds up. I can see myself watching it again along with the other trilogy. It's not so abhorrent and appallingly bad that I can't put it in front of my eyes, like some people are acting like it's an abomination of humanity or something. No, it's just a flawed film that goes against what you want in spite of you. When you're the audience, it's supposed to be for the audience. The idea of rebelling against the audience is just, I can't even keep going on about it. But I'm going to go, because I'm going to go watch The Rise of Skywalker, and I'm going to see how they get out of this mess. Although I've heard so many clues and so many leaks and so many rumors and so many things that's supposed to happen, I feel like I already know the film, but some of these could be planted, some of them could be made up. Who knows what's going to happen? All I know is all the haters are going to have... If this film is okay, all these haters, I don't know what they're going to talk about tomorrow, what they're going to talk about next week, what they're going to build their platforms on now if the Skywalker saga is basically put back on track and ends in an okay way. But we'll see if it does. I'm going to go and see if it does. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment. Comments are fun. Let's see what happens. May the Force be with you.